SmackDown took place in Lyon-Décines, France at LDLC Arena. This is the same city that hosted last year's Backlash show, which is what I thought was the loudest crowd I have ever heard for a WWE show. The SmackDown crowd was very loud in Lyon, however, it really doesn't compare to last year's Backlash show. That's understandable. This is just a SmackDown show, while last year's Backlash was the first ever PLE to ever take place in France. And I'm sure the crowd on Sunday in Paris is going to be electric. It is going to be super loud. Now, here are some notes I wanted to talk about. So, as this SmackDown concluded, John Cena is now down to single digits for his remaining appearances during the farewell tour. Of course, his last appearance is scheduled in December. So we're only down to 9 appearances over 4 months. That's really not a lot. Not a lot left. And it really feels like the end. It's a lot closer than it really seems. Also wanted to congratulate Cody Rhodes and his wife Brandi, real name Cody and Brandi Runnels, for the birth of their second daughter. We never knew Brandi was pregnant. I think she even appeared on Cody's podcast and really wasn't talked about she's pregnant. And now, however, we do know, and she gave birth to their second child, so congratulations to the family. And that's probably another reason why we haven't really seen Cody on TV since the SmackDown after SummerSlam when Drew took him out. Also, I believe Cody's filming the Street Fighter movie as well, so he's kind of busy. Now, SmackDown started with, as I said, a super hot crowd. Logan Paul kicked off the show arriving in a fancy car. He got a whole bunch of heat from France. They chanted, "Fuck you, Logan," which was censored, and he mocked them for being censored like he did last week in Ireland. He takes credit for the Netflix and ESPN deals, which are pretty funny. It was creative that he did that. Not too many people ever talk about the TKO business to incorporate it in their WWE promo, but Logan did a very good job here. He trash talks John Cena while he's speaking French, and the fans are turning chants in French back to him. John Cena then comes out to just a thunderous ovation. He's dressed in colors that resemble the French flag, the blue, the white, the red, the classic French flag, and he's super over. He mocks Logan Paul for not being in the top 25 influencers list, which was funny because that's something that he can say to really get under Logan's skin. And he had a whole bunch of Logan's friends, the KSA guys. Cena brought them up. It seems like they're just bringing them up so they can come back to another WWE show, which I don't want. I mean, I liked when KSI got cut in half by Braun Breaker at the Rumble, but I'll need to see him come back. He says he Logan Paul makes the front page for the wrong reasons, which is mostly true. And he says Logan Paul's influence is shrinking. He's looking for a new revenue stream in WWE, and he's just using us. Cena then speaks French to the crowd. So does Logan Paul. And I really wish we can have subtitles. I mean, I know a few words in French, bonjour, and not too many other words. But I wish they can give us subtitles, because I'm sure all the international crowds who watch on Netflix, everyone watches internationally, for Raw at least, and most of them for SmackDown and NXT, they can at least get subtitles in their language. I wish we could get subtitles for some of the stuff they talk while they're in France. And Cena says Logan Paul gives us no respect. He's talking about the greater WWE, the company, the fans, all the wrestlers. And he says he's really ripping into him. And then John Cena leaves the ring abruptly, and he meets with the kid from Belgium that he insulted on his first heel turn when he did that. It was his first heel promo officially, that Raw show in Belgium, when he's in front of the crowd and he's ripping into him, and he singles out a young kid in the front row who's wearing his shirt. And this kid is like wearing the exact same red shirt in Belgium. He's wearing it in France today in Lyon. And I know Belgium and France are like neighboring countries anyway. And so it's probably not too far of a drive for him. I don't know if he drove, he flew, whatever. It's probably not too, the travel isn't too far. So it makes sense that he's there. I'm sure WWE probably arranged for him to be there because it'll be easier to have him there and have John Cena have this wholesome moment. So he's there and he's wearing the same shirt. And it's kind of weird because he's recording on his phone and he wants to record John Cena on his phone. I don't know if he's like a new streamer or an influencer. I hope not, but he's trying to get Cena and Cena's trying to see him face to face. So it's kind of funny. It was a nice moment. And eventually John Cena apologizes to the kid and he says, "I love you." And it was a really nice, wholesome kind of moment that you don't really get to see too much. And John then goes back to the ring and he says wrestling will ruin Logan Paul in the end, and he goes back and the fans are just giving him a huge ovation. He hugs the kid again, and that was really the last we saw of John Cena. And the promo last week when he really went into Logan was way better, and the angle last week was actually really good for SmackDown in the Ireland show. But here it was fine, and it's just to hype up the show on Sunday. Then we go backstage and we see Kathy Kelly wearing a very short white dress and just looking stunning as usual. Oh la la, I think that's what they say in France. How they say in French when a woman looks very attractive. And Kathy was looking great. And I'm sure she bought that dress in Paris, or probably not. They're not in Paris yet, but it looks like the kind of dress you go shopping for in Paris. She's interviewing the Street Profits in BFAB, and then Uncle Howdy appears. They really didn't say much. Uncle Howdy appears, and he's really trying to create division between Montez and Angelo Dawkins, which I think we need. Look, Angelo Dawkins, I don't have anything against him. He's not too bad. BFAB, I think, as soon as Street Profits split up, she'll probably be cut. But, I don't have anything against him. I just think Montez Ford has just so much more potential than Angelo Dawkins. I really don't see much in Dawkins. I just think Ford has a lot more potential, and I really wouldn't mind him seeing them split up. So Charlotte Flair's out to a pop. They like Charlotte. We get some woos. And then Alexa Bliss comes out, and, it's Alexa Bliss. We know what happens. Pop is synonymous with Alexa Bliss. She comes out, and she gets the Bliss pop, which is a big pop. Lyon loves Alexa Bliss. They love Alexa Bliss in Lyon. And she is super over, and when she gets down the ramp with Charlotte, Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre attack the champs. They attack both Charlotte and Alexa before the match, and they do an injury angle where they take out Charlotte, they injure her knee, and she's taken to the back. And what happens is that once they eliminate Charlotte, it then becomes a singles match. And this is really weird because they advertised a tag team title match, a women's tag team title match, Charlotte and Alexa against Alba and Chelsea with Piper Niven, who wasn't there. That was kind of weird. And then it just becomes Alexa Bliss and Chelsea Green in a singles, and that's what we get. So after Charlotte's taken out, when we come back from break, it's the singles, and Alexa Bliss is super fired up. And as she's fired up, she does a lot of offense, and the crowd, because they're really hot and they really like Alexa, she is super over. Everything she does, they go crazy for her. She starts off very hot. She gets a lot of offense in, but then Chelsea Green gets the heat on her, and she works over Alexa Bliss on the break. She's in control. Then Alexa makes her comeback, and they really reacted to everything in the match. They really love Alexa Bliss, and who wouldn't love Alexa Bliss? There's something wrong with you if you don't. So near the end of the match, Alexa Bliss is going for the Twisted Bliss to finish her. Alba Fyre gets on the apron. I thought, all right, they're going to have Chelsea win, and they're going to maybe set up a tag team title match at Clash in Paris. That didn't happen. Chelsea got her knees up for the Twisted Bliss. She went for the Unprettier, but then there was a series of counters. Alexa went for the Sister Abigail DDT, but Chelsea got out of that. But as I said, the series of counters. Eventually, Alexa rolls up Chelsea Green, and she pins her 1, 2, 3. I was a bit surprised, but it made sense because of how over Bliss is. So Alexa pins Chelsea Green, and then both Alba and Chelsea begin attacking Alexa. I thought we'd see Piper, but we really didn't see Piper at all. They beat down Alexa. Chelsea hits the Unpretty and then Charlotte Flair limps her way to the ring, trying to make the save to help her tag team partner, but they beat down Charlotte too. They lay her out. She gets the Unprettier as well, I believe. And then the heels pose over the champs. Both Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss laid out in the ring. Heels stand tall. No Piper Niven, and they leave the champs lying again to set up eventually. But I think we'll get a tag team title match. Maybe at WrestlePalooza, we might get that. Or we could get that on the Chicago SmackDown next week. But we're going to get the tag team title match. It just didn't happen tonight as it was expected. But So nice seeing Lyon give Alexa such a nice reaction as she deserves because everyone loves her. So we go backstage. We get to see more of Kathy Kelly. Of course, no one's going to complain about that. She interviews Sami Zayn, and Sami is from Quebec in Canada, so we can speak French. And he speaks French to hype up the crowd. They all cheer for him. They do a congratulatory brief segment with both Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on behalf of WWE, congratulating Cody Rhodes and Randy Rhodes for the birth of their second child now. We see some of the sights in Paris to promote the show on Sunday. Some nice old cathedrals. And I was thinking, we didn't see any castles, but I mean, there's so much castles in France. Like, why can't we just do Clash at the Castle? Why does that have to be Clash in Paris? You need to do Clash at the Castle Paris. That's how they do for every show. Well, I don't know. I guess they have to tell us they're in Paris. It's not like they're in a smaller European city. It's Paris, so they have to tell us. But I just think I like the Clash at the Castle name. It's just a nitpick, but I like the Clash at the Castle name. We got an Aleister Black video promo on his feud with Damian Priest. And I just feel like I've seen this a million times. Particularly, it just feels like they're doing the whole copy and paste blueprint with both Aleister Black and Rusev. I feel like I've seen a million Rusev video promos on Raw, and I feel like I've seen a million Aleister Black video promos on SmackDown. And it just feels like they're doing the same thing because they both got them back from when they left, and they both returned at the same time, former WWE guys. It just feels like they're doing the exact same thing, and I really don't know what to do with them. Rusev feels like he's been in a feud with Sheamus for 5 months, which is probably true, and same thing with Aleister Black and Damian Priest, although that started a little bit more recent, but I feel like I've seen this too many times. And then we go back to Kathy Kelly, of course, looking great. And she does her third interview for the night. This one is with Damian Priest. He responds to Aleister Black, and he says he's going to get violent, and he challenges him to a match. I don't know when we're going to get this match. We were supposed to have a match on SmackDown before SummerSlam and then the DQ. When are we going to have a decisive match between these fucking two? I feel like they've been feuding on SmackDown for months. Oh, my God. Just do the match already. Michin comes out, and this is unfortunate because she's coming out, and Lyon, they react to everything. She doesn't get a pop. That tells you something. But Michin doesn't get a pop. Kiana James comes out, doesn't get too much of a pop. But the fans were cheering for Julia, it seemed like, and that was nice to hear. But, I mean, Kiana, the focus is on her here. And it just feels like they're using Julia to get Kiana over. So we get Michin and Kiana James. Michin wins in 7 seconds. So she gets her title match with Julia now. And then Julia and Kiana James attack her after the match. And then Julia, rams her head into the steps. So she leaves Michin's laying, and we all know she'll beat Michin, but I just think I don't know. I wish they can do more with Julia. Drew McIntyre heads to the ring. We see him walking backstage, and when he comes out, he's super over in front of the European crowd. He calls out Randy Orton, who gets a mega pop. Of course, Orton is super over in Europe. The fans sing his song, and then Drew accuses Randy of attacking him over Cody Rhodes. And then Randy says it's because Drew is a prick. Drew then headbutts Randy, goes for a Claymore, but Randy ducks. He hits a draping DDT, goes for the RKO, but a whole bunch of security guards, who are just producers, storm the ring. And then Randy hits an RKO onto all of them. And the last one he hits it on is Hurricane Helms, Shane Helms. And goes for the kick onto the punt onto McIntyre, but he gets out of the ring. So I don't know. I thought they might announce that for Clash in Paris because I assume Drew's facing Cody at WrestlePalooza. I think that's a big match they have to do, and they want to load up that show because it's the debut on ESPN. That's gonna be a huge show, kind of like we did with Netflix on Raw. Not as big, or that SmackDown that debuted on Fox several years ago. It just feels like they're going to do that. So I don't know when they're going to do Cody and Drew. I thought they might do it at on the Paris show, Clash in Paris. It would make sense, but if they're not doing it there, I don't know when. Maybe, I guess they can do it in Chicago next week, but I think they need to have Drew beat Randy before he goes on to face Cody for the belt. Miz is backstage. Carmelo Hayes goes up to him. It's basically he wants to be done with them. Miz convinces him to stay part as a team. Uncle Howdy appears, and Uncle Howdy is trying to sow division between the two of them. Street Profits are out next, and they have their own thing where they pull their hands on. It's kind of like a reverse yeet in a way. And the fans are doing, I don't know if Jey Uso likes that, but they were doing that. And Street Profits were super over in Lyon. Nick Aldis is upset at Randy Orton backstage for attacking security guards. Randy hands him a whiskey, so I guess Randy has his own alcoholic new alcoholic drink line. But then Truth comes in. He says he's going to drink it, so he just randomly appears. And he asked Aldous if he was going to drink it, by the way. That's how it really went. And Aldous said yes. I guess Truth wanted some whiskey. We get Street Profits against Mello Don't Miz. Crowd is super hot for this. They're really into both of the teams, but what happens is the Wyatt Six distract Carmelo and the Miz. Eventually, the Street Profits get the win, setting up a tag team title match at Clash in Paris. I'll be honest, I really didn't realize this was actually a number one contenders match, but we do have another match for Clash in Paris now, a 6 match. Wyatt Six against the Street Profits. After the match, the fans did the cell phone Firefly gimmick, putting up their lights in tribute to Bray Wyatt, which was cool. But for this match, I'm really not looking forward to it. I guess I'll go with the Wyatt Six. I made my predictions already. I'm not updating it on descriptions, but since it's a match landed basically at the last minute, let's go with the Wyatt Six to retain their belts. Backstage, we see Tiffany Stratton in a mirror, and it's her reflection. So she's standing in a mirror backstage. Suddenly, and this is a really cool visual, I actually freezed it, and it actually looked pretty cool because Jade Cargill just appears behind her, and it's just, we don't really see too many segments like that. You see Jade just like towering over Tiffany in a mirror, and Tiffany then looks behind her, and it's Jade, and then Jade goes to Tiffany, and she reveals that Nick Aldis told her that she's now the number one contender again, and they're going to have a title rematch, and they argue and bicker back and forth. We don't know when the match is going to take place. Maybe WrestlePalooza would make sense, but I mean, they really don't do all these title matches on one show anymore, so it can be at any time. But I think WrestlePalooza, and I think Jade needs to beat Tiffany this time. I think Jade probably should have just won at SummerSlam, but they can do the title change now. But I think it makes sense for Tiffany's title reign to end now. Sami Zayn is out to a pop, and it's a super big pop and make you think he was in Montreal. But again, it is a French-speaking crowd, so it makes sense. But he's super over. We see some of the sights of Lyon. This is back from the break. Some of the nice, beautiful sights in the beautiful city of Lyon, France. Lyon-Décines, France. And then they preview the Clash in Paris card. Eventually, we get the main event, U.S. title match. Solo Sikoa defends his title against Sami Zayn. So there's interference from the MFT. Jim Uso comes out on behalf of Sami, but they fight him off. Eventually, it's just Sami and Solo. There's no Jacob Fatu because he can't travel to Europe or many overseas countries because of all his criminal history in the U.S. So no Jacob Fatu here, but it's Sami and Solo. Sami is super over. Solo sucks. I'm so happy his title reign's over because Sami Zayn pinned him after he hit 2 consecutive haluva kicks. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn, your new U.S. champion. Leon sings his song they sing his theme songs to end the show, and that's how SmackDown ended. We have a new U.S. champion. Thankfully, Solo is no longer champion. Hopefully, he's no longer on TV, and hopefully, he's out of the company soon because he fucking sucks. DMFT sucks. I'm done with DMFT. I don't want to see them anymore. I'm glad. We have Sami Zayn as a new U.S. champ. Good riddance. Solo sucked. And that's how SmackDown ended today, or tonight in France, today where I am. But that's how the show ended. I thought, it was a hot crowd. Wasn't the best show, to be honest. It was a pretty average show. But I felt like they knew that the crowd will react to anything, so they can just do whatever they want because they're going to have a hot crowd regardless. But that's how the show went down. And we'll see what happens next. The next big show also in France, from Lyon, going up north to Paris, where Clash in Paris takes place this Sunday. Hopefully we get a great show, and I'm sure we know the crowd's going to be fantastic in Paris, and hopefully they get a great show to go with it.